Hey, what is up? It's your boy Gamer Pony here, and I'm back again with another reaction video. Today, I will be reacting to SCP-1127, a film festival by Dr. Bob. So, I've actually been following his channel for a while, and I actually wanted to do a reaction on one of his videos, but I never got a chance to until now. So this new video, SCP-1127 just uploaded like 15 minutes ago. So, and since I never done any reactions to any SCP videos, I thought I'd start doing it now. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I upload a new video. So, without further ado, on with the reaction, shall we?
For avant-garde film fans across the nation, it's the eve of one of the most exciting days of the year.
Really?
The beginning of Oddfest, a prestigious film festival that features offerings from some of the strangest names in cinema. Now in its
That's pretty cool.
Year, the organization has featured films from the likes of legendary artists and filmmakers David Cronenberg, Frank Henenlotter, Gion Sono, Julia Ducournau, David Lynch, Panos Cosmatos, the Soska Sisters, Flying Lotus, and Lars von Trier at their strangest, as well as a bevy of creators so bizarre and obscure, the average person would never have heard of them. But for the attendants of Oddfest, they were gods made flesh. Of course, one person's exciting event is another person's stressful logistical nightmare, and in this case, the latter role falls at the feet of the programmer, the member of Oddfest's organizational board tasked with managing the festival's lineup and making sure they all release smoothly. He's passionate about getting these films out there to audiences that will truly appreciate them. But that doesn't make the process of getting it all to happen any easier. It's a relatively thankless job. But hey, somebody's got to do it, right?
True,
the programmer is earning the midnight oil at the Carolina Theater, the historic movie theater in Durham, North Carolina, that's hosting Oddfest this year. He'd spent the better part of the evening discussing various contingencies with the theater's manager, then making the final checks on scheduling and licensing. All the invisible work that goes into making Oddfest safe, fun, and most importantly, legal. With how touchy movie studios often get about their intellectual property, screening the wrong thing
I remember seeing that before.
Disaster for all involved.
That FBI warning sign.
Unfortunate programmer know, another kind of disaster is rolling down the hill towards him. A disaster that even someone with his experience could never anticipate.
Oh no.
It's almost 2 a.m. when he receives a knock on the door of his temporary office. He jumps slightly. Wasn't he the only one still in the building? Maybe someone had come back. Either way, he pauses for a moment, oddly nervous, before calling out, "Yes, come in."
Why would you?
Slowly open, and a strange figure leans into the gap. It's a round, squat man wearing a suit, with his hair slicked back by liberal amounts of highly fragrant pomade. Behind this strange little man, reminds the programmer a little of Danny DeVito's rendition of the Penguin from Batman Returns, is a pair of tall, gray-faced men.
It kind of does.
Look oddly similar. Twins, perhaps? Either way, the programmer blinks hard just to make sure he's not dreaming, because things have gotten decidedly Lynchian here. The short man and the two tall men enter the room and casually take seats across from the programmer. It's only now that the programmer notices that the peculiar short man is carrying a black leather briefcase. He finally plucks up the courage to ask who exactly these people are and what they're doing here the night before Oddfest is scheduled to begin. The short man gives a wide, almost eerie grin that splits his pale face in two, and says, with an oddly soft voice, "We represent the fine people at AWCY." Suddenly, the programmer feels himself breaking into a cold sweat. Of course, the AWCY group is one of Oddfest's biggest benefactors. It's their funding that's allowed the festival to continue operating over the last 20 years, since all the subsidies dried up.
Wow.
The programmer feels terrible for not realizing sooner. It must be his sleep-deprived mind. Immediately, he forces a smile, all genial and welcoming. He's in the presence of greatness. "Oh, of course," the programmer says, trying to play it all off. "Where are my manners? Is there anything I can do for you? Is the festival all going ahead to your liking?" The short man places his briefcase on the table and unlocks it, before turning it to the programmer. On the inside, there are 4 blank DVD cases.
4 blank DVDs?
The programmer suddenly feels as though he's been involved in some kind of shady, illicit deal. "These 4 short films," the short man says. "I'd like you to play each of these before 4 of your most popular movies tomorrow. Each one is a piece with considerable artistic merit. We can assure you that if these new conditions are met, Oddfest will receive notably higher funding in the years to come. Orders from the top. It's an
Oh.
offer that the programmer really can't refuse. The next day, the festival
Oh,
begins.
he's definitely gonna
Thousands of
regret
eager
it.
fans of weird cinema have poured
'Cause
in from across the country and beyond.
I have a
all
bad feeling
eager to
about those
take in and
DVDs.
appreciate some truly mind-expanding movies. But nothing can
What if
prepare
they're
them
like
for
the
just how much their viewings
like the
today
VHS
are
tape
going to
from
change them.
the movie The Ring?
Audiences assemble for the 4 most popular films of the day and are given the preliminary announcement that they would be the first to experience some exclusive short films premiering here at Oddfest as a kind of appetizer for the longer films to come. It leaves
Oh,
them giddy with excitement, as in the theater's 4 different primary screens,
let's see
the
them.
short films that the programmer had been given in the dead of night begin to play. As one can expect from such an event, these short films are strange, bizarre, and perhaps even to most, rather disturbing. But the most disturbing experiences would only truly unfold afterwards.
What?
Much to the horror of the programmer and his many co-workers, mass disaster breaks out at the Carolina Theater, fighting for the first time ever. Ivy faculty are making
I forgot there's ads in these.
available to anyone who hopes to positive.
There we go.
Fighting erupts in the stands, violent brawls.
Oh
that
my
leave many
God.
bloody and bashed. Some set fires around the theater,
Oh.
burning up reels of a number of valuable rare films. Others are simply watching and laughing uproariously, seemingly amused.
Okay, this is freaking me out.
Carnage unfolding all around them. Others are almost catatonic, with some unexplained terror rocking back and forth on the ground.
I knew there was something wrong with
so
those
confused
tapes.
and distressed by
Or
the world around
DVDs.
them. And perhaps most inexplicably of all, a large group of people from Screen 4 run frantically into the bathrooms, where they started drinking toilet water.
What?
Faces contorted in
Ew.
of enjoyment. It's a sight so horrifying
That is
it seems
disgusting.
almost like something out of one of the festival's seed-eater films. It takes the
What?
Durham PD considerable time, effort,
That's
and
just nasty.
manpower to contain what is rapidly becoming known as the Oddfest riot.
Oddfest
But little did anyone
riot?
involved know, the effects that had taken place today were only a taste of the horrors to come, because everyone who saw the short films that day would never be the same again.
Oh
This may
God.
seem like a film lover's worst nightmare, but sadly, it's a cold reality when you're dealing with SCP-1127, a series of anomalous short films ranging from 23 to 42 minutes in length, believed to have been created by members of an anomalous art collective known as Are We Cool Yet?
Are we
Thus
cool
far,
yet?
the SCP Foundation has been able to contain 4 different examples of these cursed short films, but researchers
Jeez.
and field operatives are not ruling out the possibility that there are more in circulation, or that there are many other copies of the films we know about still readily available to the film-viewing public. The
Interesting.
reason these films have been given a collective designation in the Foundation archives rather than a series of individual designations is that those who have witnessed the films have reported considerable stylistic similarities between them, even though the content can differ wildly. For example, the majority of the footage in each film is taken
Faces
from
of
pre-existing sources, such as other movies, news
Dawn
feeds,
of the Dead.
documentaries, TV, and archival footage. Each of
Gee,
these movies also
weird.
features a narrator character who gives the films a kind of thematic cohesion. These narrators will somehow interject into the recycled footage on occasion too. Watching these films will cause permanent changes in the personality and disposition of the viewer, which the Foundation has currently found no ways of successfully treating. Even applying
Jeez.
amnestic treatment, which erases the memory of viewing the films, does nothing to alter their effects.
Oh
Now,
my
before we
God.
get into the
I am
disturbing
not watching those
specifics of
DVDs.
these
Nope.
demented short films, I do have a slight piece of good news for any film fans out there.
What is it?
First, the anomalous effects are only activated if someone consumes a cumulative 20 minutes of one of the films. So
Oh.
if you're watching a movie and begin to recognize some of the features we're about to discuss, make sure you get yourself and anyone else out of there before the anomalous properties have a chance to take effect.
Okay,
There are
good.
also no anomalous effects when the audio and the visuals are consumed separately. The films must be taken holistically to affect you. This brings us to the films themselves, or at least the ones we're currently aware of, designated SCP-1127-1, SCP-1127-2, SCP-1127-3, and SCP-1127-4.
Okay.
Each of these films has its own unique anomalous effects, seemingly influenced by the content of each one.
Oh.
Let's start at the shallow end, before we progressively get deeper into the more nightmarish examples.
Good
Which
idea.
is saying something, given SCP-1127-1 is narrated by a Nazi clown. And no,
What?
I'm not speaking in hyperbolic terms here. SCP-1127-1 is a 23-minute film entitled Were Clowns Always Yellow? And was first discovered illegally spliced into the film of a non-anomalous movie being shown at a New York City Cineplex. As I alluded to not long ago, The narrator of this film is a man in a period-accurate World War II SS uniform, save for one detail. He has a clownish face painted on in grease paint. The recycled footage,
Gee.
in addition to archival footage of World War II, comes largely from movies that deal with the events and fallout of the tragic war and the many atrocities committed within, including The Night Porter, the unreleased Jerry Lewis
Oh my
movie The Day the
God.
Clown Cried, and even The Sound of Music. The Nazi clown goes on a rant about the nature of humor before pulling out his holstered Luger pistol and shooting Jerry Lewis in the head. You may think that audiences would find this material disturbing, but on the contrary, people who have watched this film frequently describe it as the funniest movie they've ever seen. For
What?
those who experience the film's anomalous effects, the strangeness does not end there. SCP-1127-1 essentially reverses the polarity of the subject's humor and disgust. For the rest of their life, they will find things typically considered depressing, morbid, or disgusting to be hilarious.
Jeez.
Whereas they will find things intended to be comedy, no matter how innocuous, to be disgusting and disturbing. Wars, tragedies, cruelty, and funerals suddenly become hilarious. But when Foundation researchers tested the film on a group of D-Class personnel, they started having extreme reactions of physical revulsion towards comedy. One member of D-Class personnel had to be physically restrained while being shown an episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus. However, other than some strange reactions in the public and very peculiar media tastes, this film won't make you unable to enter society after some quick amnestic treatment from the Foundation. The same, sadly, cannot be said for the next one. SCP-1127-2 is a 37-minute-long movie entitled Crazy Where You Are, and was first discovered posted online, where it managed to get views in the quadruple digits before the Foundation was able to find it and shut it down. Nobody truly knows what kind of horrific damage it could have caused in that time, considering its extremely dangerous anomalous effects. The film featured a 12-year-old girl as its narrator, methodically performing surgery on her teddy bear while wearing a blue dress and a black domino mask, like the ones commonly worn by classic heroes like the masked swordsman Zorro and Batman's sidekick Robin.
That is so
The end
weird.
result of Crazy Where You are anything but heroic. The girl eerily whispers things like, "What are you afraid of? Violence. Afraid that violence is the answer. Or is it the question? Ask the question you are afraid of. You already know the answer. Pain doesn't hurt." While a montage of children's media mixed with incredibly violent media plays below.
Okay, that's just weird.
Everything from the infamous shock film Faces of Death to old Bugs Bunny cartoons from the 1940s that really haven't aged well. You might think that experiencing this bizarre little film would greatly disturb its viewers, but those who watch long enough to experience its anomalous effects will report no strong reaction to the film at all. They will appear stony-faced and disconnected. They'll then carry this feeling of general apathy away from the film and back into their everyday life. These unfortunate moviegoers will slowly lose their sense of empathy and begin to experience a complete severing of their emotional investment in the world around them. Even hostile and dangerous situations will register with the same sense of disinterest that one might feel towards a slice of overcooked toast. This would undeniably mean that the victims might become indifferent to their own safety, but it does.
Man, but still, oh my God.
What are we waiting for? But it doesn't stop there. Viewers of this film are likely to develop sociopathic tendencies, including the desire to hurt others out of a sense of detached intellectual curiosity. We have no way of knowing how many serial killers started their monstrous journey by viewing this nasty little short film and becoming inspired. Because of this volatile and dangerous change, the Foundation believes that those affected are unable to safely reintegrate into society and must remain in containment. Next comes a film that is less frightening and more deeply tragic. This is SCP-1127-3, a 30-minute short film entitled All Comes With Yesterday. This devious little piece of cinema found its way in front of unwitting eyes via a pirate UHF signal in a coastal Michigan town, which exposed innocent viewers of public television to 72 hours of the cursed film on loop. No physical copy of this film has ever been obtained by the SCP Foundation, and from the original recorded broadcast alone, the Foundation is aware that people in the double digits were affected by its dangerous, anomalous properties. The narrator of this film is a woman who appears to be in her mid-30s, wearing an Elizabethan ball gown and a golden theatrical mask in the form of a rat's face, which appears to be permanently affixed to her own. Rather than speaking in complete sentences, this narrator's speech is eerily fragmented, with one recorded segment being her whispering, "Desire, aspire, require, conspire, acquire, retire, expire, choir, pyre, liar,
What?
Liar. Liar.
That is super
Liar.
weird.
After which, she continued to simply repeat the word liar over several minutes, while mashed up footage of several classic movies plays, including RoboCop, the biblical epic The Ten
I've seen that
Commandments,
movie.
Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now, Natural Born Killers, Eraserhead, and George Romero's original Dawn of the Dead. With a setup that strange and eclectic, you're probably wondering what the end result of viewing this strange little offering is. To put it simply, it induces a state of debilitating technophobia. You become a perpetually anxious Luddite, terrified of anything considered even vaguely technological. And we mean this in the broadest sense of the word. Anything deemed to be manufactured by mechanical means, from furniture to clothes, becomes terrifying to the unfortunate viewers of All Comes With Yesterday. Because of the life-altering extent of the phobia induced, people affected by this film are unable to integrate back into normal society, and instead need to be given Class A amnestics before being permanently institutionalized. And finally, the film that, for your psychological health, will leave mostly to the imagination. SCP-1127-4. A 42-minute film with the ominous title, Why Are You Crying? Over 300 DVD copies of this film were slipped between the pages of body romance novels in a number of Canadian bookstores, claiming to be a special feature that comes with the book. And those who were morbidly curious enough to watch it had their lives forever changed for the worse. The narrator of this film is a man whose face is obscured by a menacing leather mask. He gives a free-form soliloquy about the nature of love and attraction over footage of various shocking or abstract underground films and cult classics, like Cremaster 3, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, and the late Italian filmmaker Pier Pasolini's infamous final film before his sudden murder, 1975's Salo. Anyone who watches this film for long enough is likely to develop some very original ideas about the nature of attraction. Ideas that most of us might consider somewhat strange or disturbing.
Oh, the toilet thing?
I think we'll leave it at that. Suffice to say, many of the people affected by Why Are You Crying? Are unable to return to society after their viewing and need to remain in containment. Any instances of these cursed films found outside of containment are under the purview of Mobile Task Force Mu-53, also known as Ebert's Thumb, named after the iconic film critic Roger Ebert. Physical copies are to be seized and held in storage, and digital copies are to be contained and heavily encrypted before being neutralized for safety purposes. SCP-1127 instances are to be kept in the secure media vault of a classified site, and only brought out for testing when personally approved by the acting site director. Only D-Class personnel are permitted to view the films for their full duration. Foundation personnel who, during testing, are exposed to a cumulative 15 minutes of any of the films are to be reassigned to a different project for safety purposes. People who have viewed the films are to undergo a full psychological evaluation by Foundation psychologists and psychiatrists to determine the extent of the effects on them and decide what additional treatment, if any, they require. Thankfully, because of the inert nature of this anomaly, it is still classified as safe, but anyone lurking out there with copies of the films
it's safe as long as no one watches them. Good to know.
By exposing unwitting people to the films. So if any shady individuals invite you to a private film festival in their basement, it's probably best to just decline.
Yeah.
These films aren't going to be hitting the Criterion Collection anytime soon.
Nope.
Cinema can be a transformative experience. Everyone's seen that one movie that saves their life and changes everything. Just make sure, if you're planning on burning through a few short films this weekend, you know how exactly you want to be transformed. If you want to support our important mission here at Dr. Bob, check out the Dr. Bob Patreon and become a junior researcher today. Now go and watch another entry from the files of Dr. Bob, like SCP-1432, Doll DVD.
I've seen that.
Another piece of anomalous entertainment that will forever change your life for the worse. And make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single anomaly as we delve further and further into the SCP Foundation's classified archives.
Well, that was SCP-1127, a film festival by Dr. Bob. I hope you all enjoyed the video. And again, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. So, again, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.